Hi, I'm Edith, and some people call me the medical miracle. I was only 23 when I've heard the doctor's words, "You only have few days left to live." He promised that he will keep me comfortable and painless, or as my saving angel said back then, "You will leave this life painless with rosy cheeks." But let's go back to the beginning, shall we? Rewind, please. I was born on the first day of school. Actually, my mom used to say it was right when the bell rang to go into class that I came into this world. Celebrating my childhood birthdays at school, I did sometimes get the feeling that I might have been born with a school bag on my back. I was always curious. Until today, I am passionate about knowledge and learning new things. So learning at school throughout my childhood was a fantastic experience for me. I was a busy and ambitious teenager, and I didn't realize my home was about to break to pieces. My dad was very ill, and I probably didn't want to deal with it. My superhero strong dad was all of a sudden old, fragile, weak, and absolutely terrified. I was too horrified to watch him in this state and kept myself busy and my mind occupied with everything other than his soon-coming death from cancer. After a few short months, my father died after a short and painful battle, which he has lost to carcinoma cancer. Unluckily for me, I was the one to answer the phone call from the hospital that December morning. They were looking for my mom, who was on the way home from hospital after a long night. My instinct instantly told me something was wrong, but my brain refused to accept it. All I could say was, "I'm soon coming to the hospital. Tell my father." When the lady replied, "He's gone." All I could think of was, gone? Gone where? That was destiny's first knock on my door. But I was too young, too angry and stubborn to pick up any messages. I kept studying, writing, went to university, and took an evening administrative job in a high-tech company. But when we ignore destiny's whispers, those become shouts. One night, destiny knocked again, even more forcefully this time. I was 23 and was not feeling well that winter. I had what later was found to be classic symptoms of non-Hodgkin lymphoma cancer. Constant low fever, lost weight, and had horrible chest pains and night sweats. At first, I thought it was nothing, but eventually I decided to see the doctor. My GP's diagnosis was exams anxiety, and hearing it, I laughed aloud, saying, "No way, I was born on the first day of school, you know." I got rid of the prescription on my way out of the clinic and went back to my routine, but deep down, I knew something was wrong. Something was very wrong. It didn't take long for me to find out what it was. Few days after, I woke up at 3 a.m. with a complete catastrophe. I was gasping for air, and the pain in my chest felt like the scene in Alien with Sigourney Weaver when the alien was tearing people's chests to come out. It's the only way I could describe the pain. I was rushed to the hospital, barely breathing, and collapsed at the emergency room's entrance. 1 hour later, a doctor came in with my X-ray results. His face was changing colors, and I didn't need to notice the serious impression on his face to realize I was in a serious trouble. Few moments later, I have learned for the first time what vena cava syndrome was, an obstruction of the blood vessel which carries blood into the heart. At least 80% of the cases are caused by compression of the vena cava by malignant tumors, mostly by non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Survival rate was devastating. Only 1% survived this syndrome. To make things worse, I had another emergency condition, a deviation of the trachea. In fact, given the two, it was quite miraculous that I could still breathe. Till now, I still can't explain why, but I felt calm. I finally was getting clues of what was wrong with me, and thank God it wasn't exam anxiety. The next morning, I was still alive. Someone rolled my stretcher out of the CT room, and I was waiting at the corridor for the doctor to come and give me my verdict. I was preparing myself for all scenarios but one. Dying is not an option. No matter what, I'm going to live. This time, I won't panic and run away. I won't be mad at the world and feel sorry for myself. I'm going to learn everything possible to save myself. This was going to be the biggest test of my life, and I was well prepared. A smiling face with worried eyes was looking over me. It was the angel doctor that was sent to help me on my survival task. He told me I was right. I did have an alien in my chest, and indeed it was trying to get out. A huge tumor behind my chest bone that had everything it took to destroy whatever was standing in its way. He said he had good news and bad news. We know what to do to treat it, but survival rates are not promising, he said. These were all good news to me. I know now what I have. The doctor is aware of the treatment, and there is a survival option. I told the doctor I was ready for the battle. I was fighting it for myself and for my father. I'm going to get even at cancer and survive. My angel doctor looked at me and said, "It's a deal. And if anything goes wrong, I promise you, you won't be suffering. You will leave this life with rosy cheeks." I made a good deal that day at that corridor. I survived, and even more, I have met my destiny. It took me 2 years to say goodbye to the hospitals I've been treated in and recover. It took me another 2 years to become a nurse, and 2 more to understand what my next step had to be. Perhaps after all, I wasn't learning quite as fast as I thought. My mother thought I have lost my mind when I told her I was going to become a nurse and save others, preferably children with cancer. She was certain I will go back to my plans, become a lawyer or a reporter. However, I guess it was better to have a crazy daughter than a dead one, and I had her total support and devotion to help me fulfill my decision. After 2 intense years, I was finally a registered nurse. I figured out during my training that working with children in oncology will not allow me to keep my sanity and strength. I was already a mother, against all odds, and didn't have this capacity within me. My immune system was also challenged by the treatments I have gone through, and so I have found myself at cardiology intensive care unit at the same hospital I was diagnosed in a few years back. It was fascinating and challenging. The nurses were all experienced and well-trained. They knew about my past in the hospital and felt embarrassed to criticize my work as a fresh nurse. One day, my supervising nurse gave me a long look and said, "I think you are in the right neighborhood, but not in the right house." I was devastated. I heard that sentence in my head again and again. She is right, I thought. My DNA was not designed for this. I am in the right neighborhood, but what was the right house? At that time, telemedicine started to evolve, and I was enchanted. This could be a perfect place for me. This was the future. Quick diagnosis was my main advantage. I could still save lives, and I wouldn't have to challenge my immune system in a hospital setting. Bingo! We have a winner! I have started working for a telemedicine company, and it was fascinating. Just imagine having a person with medical issues sitting at home, broadcasting over the phone the ECG or blood pressure data, and telling me about his or her symptoms. 30 seconds to make a decision, boom, move on to the next call. This was a glimpse to the future, an epiphany of how medical device and digital computing technology can transform our lives and our world. This was the right house for me. More than 20 years passed, during which I was and still am involved in international business development of medical device in numerous fields. I have watched the development, transformation, and evolution of healthcare and medical fields, and I am proud to humbly say I did manage to contribute to saving lives around the world, and my mission goes on still. It took me almost 25 years to fulfill my dream of sharing my life lessons with others. But I do have some really good excuses for the delay. You see, I was busy in between an international career in the medical industry and raising my wonderful 4 children. Having a baby never stopped my important work, and I would take my baby everywhere with me. To the office, and to my travels and presentations around the world too. When we had a medical device demonstration where a baby was needed, my baby would even work with me too. Throughout my career, I have worked closely with leading doctors, nurses, and medical engineers and distributors in order to promote health and wellness. I am also involved in professional writing and lecturing all over the world and sharing my knowledge in professional events and conferences where I'm talking to medical staff and medical device professionals about how technology can promote health and what human factors should be considered throughout development. I have also founded an international group of nurses called Nurses Lead Technology, which is aiming to promote clinical knowledge, creativity, and innovation in the medical device space. So I can tell you with great confidence, I know the medical and healthcare industries inside out in so many countries of the world. We have a great industry. But hey, let's admit it. It is an industry, and the health services are biased with financial interest. And that is not a criticism, it's a fact. Our health systems are great, and they can do a lot, but they need resources to function, and we see how difficult that may be. Another thing that I have learned is that our medicine practices are usually addressing symptoms, not the root cause of the problem. This is something that is strongly instilled in the health system and is still far from the desired and necessary change. So why am I telling you all this? Let me explain. You know, our generation is going through a global pandemic none of us has experienced. It's absolutely overwhelming, devastating, and many lives have been affected by it, both physically and economically. It's never fun to go through a life-changing experience, right? Is it fun to have cancer? I can tell you, no, absolutely not. Does it mean death? Not necessarily. Can it bring value to your life in many ways? Well, yes, if you choose it to be so. If you take control and use the experience and challenge to grow, to improve, to better yourself and your life, then you can turn a curse into a blessing. It is possible. So none of us want to get cancer. Of course, none of us want to live in fear of a global pandemic and virus. But we can choose to take it as an opportunity to better ourselves and our lives. Some might call it turning the lemon into a lemonade. And if you are one of these really clever people who can draw conclusions using other people's experience, then you won't wait for something unpleasant to push you towards action. We can decide not to stay helpless in an uncertain future, but to act to improve our health, strengthen our body and our mind, improve our well-being. This is my mission and message, and I am now helping as many people as possible to gain this approach and to take ownership and responsibility over their health. So now I am a medical miracle who is also a health promoter. In my online health masterclasses, I am approaching people all over the world, making knowledge more accessible and equipping them with a drive to better their health and well-being. Our health, our happiness, our relationships, our success in every way, they are all one and interact with each other. When you are healthy, energized, and calm, you will most definitely have better results in every aspect of your life. And we all have everything it takes to make our health and our lives better than what they are now. Perhaps you'll need some guidance and maybe additional knowledge and motivation that can help you spark the drive. But one thing is for sure, you can definitely have more control over your health and better your life, your happiness, and your well-being. If you wish to hear from me, I invite you to leave me your details in the form or link with this video. And I would really also appreciate you sharing my story and this video to help me reach and help as many people as possible. Stay safe and keep smiling. Bye.